How many people are there in the meeting? 7. Let's wait for 2 more minutes for all the other team members to join. In the meanwhile, would anyone like to give any feedback on the session? We'll wait for 1 more minute and then let's get started with conditional formatting. In the meanwhile, let me give you a context of what is conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is formatting based on a condition. Okay? Conditional formatting is formatting based on a condition. Now, when I talk about conditional formatting, we are formatting a range of cells. We are formatting a range of cells based on a criteria or a condition which it fulfills. So, for example, if I have data over here in this particular column, and I would like to say if the text in this column is equal to Funds Bazaar. That means if it contains Funds Bazaar in it, then I would like to format it. So that means I'm looking for a particular text which should be present within the range of cells. For that, I'm going to select the column. But since conditional formatting is formatting on a condition, sometimes you could be looking for certain patterns in the text and they could conflict with your labels or your headers. And that is why avoid the headers and take the data down. Avoid the headers and take the data down. So here I have selected the E column and under the Home tab, under Styles, you will find Conditional Formatting. Under the Home tab, under Styles, you will find Conditional Formatting. Click on the drop down of Conditional Formatting. Click on the drop down of Conditional Formatting and click on Highlight Cell Rules. Click on Highlight Cell Rules. After clicking on Highlight Cell Rules, I am going to say equal to. I repeat, I am going to say equal to. Highlight Cell Rules equal to. So I'm going to select the column, go to Conditional Formatting, Highlight Cell Rules, requesting everyone to be on mute, equal to, and here, if you see in the pop-up, I get equal to, format cells that are equal to, and I'll write over here, Funds Bazaar. As soon as I write Funds Bazaar in this particular box, you will see that wherever there is Funds Bazaar, it gets highlighted by a light red fill and a dark red text. I can click on the drop down and I can change the color. And if I want a different color, not what is available here in the presets, I could go into custom format and from here under fill, I can choose a color of my choice. Where did I go? Custom format under fill and I can choose a color of my choice. Click on OK. As soon as I click on OK, you will see that the conditional formatting has been applied to this particular column of data. I repeat, you will see that conditional formatting has been applied to this particular column of data. If I come to Funds Bazaar here and I change it to online sales, that means now it is not fulfilling the condition which I am searching for. When I hit enter, the yellow fill will be removed from here. So basically, the rules of conditional formatting are running on your cells all the time. When you make any changes to the data on the cells, or you add something or you subtract something, the rules are prevalent then and they execute the changes real time. Let me show you how to clear it and then I'll apply it one more time and then you can try it at your end. Please keep the data set handy because today as well, we will be working on the same data sheet. Requesting everyone to please be on mute because the session is getting recorded. So if everyone is on mute, we'll get a good recording, right? So for clearing conditional formatting, when you go into clear rules, there are two options here. One is clear rules from selected cells. Clear rules from selected cells, as the name suggests, will clear the rules only from the range of cells which are selected. I repeat, clear rules from selected cells will clear the rules of conditional formatting only from the range of cells. But alternatively, if I say clear rules from entire sheet, they will clear the rules from the whole sheet. Currently, since I have not specified a range of cells, or since I have not selected a range of cells, I will clear rules from the entire sheet, and you will see that the rules have also been cleared from column E. Let us repeat this one more time. Select the first cell just below the label, Control Shift and down, go to conditional formatting, click on highlight cell rules, and from here choose the equal to option. Now you may ask me that why shouldn't I take text that contains? And why should I take equal to? Can anyone tell me the difference between the two? Anyone? Can anyone tell me the difference between equal to and text that contains? When we are talking about equal to, when we are talking about equal to, we are exactly looking at that. But when we are looking at contains, it could contain that anywhere in the middle of the text. Right now, I'll show you an example of equal to. The next example I will show you is text that contains. Click on equal to. Write Funds Bazaar. Click on OK. And here you will see the data for Funds Bazaar being highlighted. Please check. Please try this. Okay, thank you for the intimation, everyone. Okay, let us go ahead and let us talk about the contains function. That means let us go ahead with text that contains. For that, I'm going to take the transaction type column into consideration. Select the column of data, leaving the headers. Control backspace to go to the top of your data. So whenever you navigate to the very end of your data, you can use control and backspace to come back to the top of your data where your headers are visible. Let's go to conditional formatting, and here under highlight cell rules, I will say text that contains. If I look for text that contains SIP, you will notice that SIP is selected, SIPTW is also selected, ESIP is also selected. What does it mean? That means SIP could be anywhere in the text. SIP could be anywhere in the text and it will highlight it and give it to me. SIP could be anywhere in the text and it will highlight it and give it. Can you please try this example as well, everyone? Try out contains, everyone. How will you clear the conditional formatting? Go to conditional formatting, click on clear rules, say clear rules from entire sheet and remove the rules. Let us go and look at conditional formatting for the net asset value column. So in this example, we are going to look at the net asset value column. And over here in this column, I am going to consider the net asset values which are less than 1000. So I'm going to select the column, go to conditional formatting. Under highlight cell rules, I will say less than. So here I am looking at the net asset value which is lesser than 1000. I'll write 1000 here. As soon as I write 1000, you will see that the number values which fulfill this criteria or which are within this bracket will get highlighted, and I can click on OK, and this is my answer. Now suppose I would only like my conditional formatting rules to be removed from a particular column. Like I've applied conditional formatting to 5 columns. But I would like to remove the conditional formatting from any one of those 5 columns. In that case, I can simply select that column, go to conditional formatting, clear rules, and then I will choose the option of clear rules from selected cells. Clear rules from selected cells will allow me to clear the conditional formatting rules from this particular selected range of cells. So this range is already selected. They will only clear from this range. In all the other data, the rules will be running or prevalent as is. So clear rules from selected cells will enable you to clear the rules of conditional formatting from this particular range of cells. Please try, everyone. Anyone has any question or any query? Let me know before we go ahead. The next example I will take is for between. Suppose I say if the number of units are between 0 to 100, I would like to highlight them, then I can use the between option. If the rules are between 0 to 100 and I would like to highlight them. Select the column, Control Shift down. Okay. Select the column, Control Shift down. And from here, I am going to apply the conditional formatting for between. So let's go to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, and here I will choose between. Here I will choose between. Click on this. The lower limit is 0 and the upper limit is 100. The lower limit is 0. The upper limit is 100. And between 0 to 100, the data will get highlighted. Click on OK. And here you can see that the column is highlighted. Now, if I want to remove the rules of conditional formatting from the entire sheet, I will go to conditional formatting, clear rules, and from here, I will clear the rules. Clear rules from entire sheet will enable me to clear the rules or to remove the rules of conditional formatting from this entire sheet. Please try this, everyone. Please try this, everyone. And then clear the sheet. The next one under highlight cell rules is top bottom rules. Top bottom rules, as the name suggests, will highlight either the top 10 items or the bottom 10 items depending upon what you are searching for. So suppose I go to the units column. And in this column, I decide that I would like to highlight the top 10 number of units. Go to conditional formatting, top bottom rules, click on top 10 items. As soon as I click on top 10 items, it will ask me format cells that rank in the top 10. If instead of 10, I want top 5, I can write 5. Instead of 5, if I want 3, I can write 3. If I want top 10 only, I can go ahead with the top 10 default option which is given to me, with a light red fill and a dark red text. So it will give me a red fill and a dark red text. Click on OK, and now you will scroll and you will see that the top 10 values have been highlighted. If you want, you can select the whole thing. Go to data, click on filter. And here under units, choose filter by color because there's a color and say this color. And now you can see your top 10 together. You could also sort it in descending order. I repeat, you could also sort it in descending order. So it would give you the topmost values on the top. And you would be able to check whether it is actually giving you the top 10 items or not. So I would like you to use the top tab, then go and apply a filter by color, and then check if you can see that your answer is correct. Please check. The filter, remove the filter sign, and let me know when you all complete. Please be on mute, everyone. Anyone has any questions, any queries? Would anyone like anything to be repeated? Oh, yes, sure. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to go to conditional formatting, clear rules, and I'm clearing the rules from the entire sheet. Then in the units column, I am going to highlight the top 10 items. So select the column. Under conditional formatting, under top bottom rules, there is top 10 items. Under conditional formatting, under top bottom rules, there is top 10 items. From here, you can make it top 5, you can make it top 15, or you can let it be at top 10. If you want to change it to top 3, you can type in 3 or any other number of your choice. Then you can decide the color or the choice of the color which you would like to fill these cells with. Click on OK, and here the conditional formatting has been applied to this particular range. Now the question is, how will you check whether your answer is correct? There are multiple ways of doing it. Let me share 2 ways with you. First, you'll go to data, click on sort, click on filter, and in the units, you can sort it largest to smallest based on units. So you can sort it in descending order based on number of units. The other method, the second method of doing it is, you can come to the units column, and here you can filter by color. When you click on filter by color, you can choose the color, and based on that color, it will only show you that data. Click on filter by color, and you can click on this color and you'll only be left with this data. So either you filter in descending order or you apply a filter by color. Click on clear in order to clear the filter. Click again on clear. And this is your data. Please try, everyone. Is it clear now? Manisha ma'am, are you able to follow now? What about the others? Were you all able to follow? Yes? Okay, super. Good. Thank you. Okay. Let us clear this. Go to the home tab, conditional formatting, clear rules from entire sheet. Now, under conditional formatting, you will also see an option called data bars. What does data bars do? Data bars will basically fill a color in your cells based on a number. So if the number is a higher number, they will fill more color. If the number is a smaller number, it will fill less color. Within the range, data bars will decide the starting point and the ending point of your numbers. So the lowest limit of your number and the highest limit of your number will be with data bars, and then based on that, based on the lowest and the highest limit, they will decide the quantity of color to be filled in the column. So let me select one column, that is the units column. Control Shift down. Go to conditional formatting. Click on data bars, and there are two types. One is a gradient fill, which is any color along with white. The other is a solid fill, which is a solid color. So either you can opt for a gradient fill or you can opt for a solid fill. If you take a gradient fill, it will be a color along with white. If you take a solid fill, it will be a single flat color which is used. Click on gradient fill and you will see color, but you will see that the higher values are on the top. Now I'm increasing the size of my cell because the negative values will be on the opposite side. Can you see this? So this is minus 3,652. It is on this side. So with data bars, positive values are filled towards one side. And if your data happens to have negative values, there will be a dotted demarcation line running centrally, and to the other side of it in a slightly different color, you will see the negative values plotted by data bars. So data bars is also a very interesting tool where based on the quantity or the volume or the number in the cell will get filled with color. Depending upon the quantity or the value or the number in the cell will get filled with color. Please try, everyone. Please try data bars, everyone. Great. In order to clear data bars, since they are a type of formatting or a conditional formatting only, you will clear them by either selecting the column, go into conditional formatting, clear rules and say clear rules from selected cells, or you select the whole sheet and clear the rules from the entire sheet. Clearing the rules from the entire sheet will remove the rules of conditional formatting from the cells. Clear rules from selected cells, it will clear it from this particular selection of cells. Now, when we were applying these rules of conditional formatting, you may have seen that whenever I applied these rules of conditional formatting, it applied the rules of conditional formatting to only individual columns, right? Because I had selected individual columns. It applied the rules of conditional formatting only to individual columns because only individual columns were selected. Correct? But sometimes you may have a requirement where you would want the whole row to get highlighted, right? Something like this. You would want that if my criteria or my condition is fulfilled, I want the whole row to get highlighted. In that case, what I will be doing is I will select the whole data without the labels, of course. So select the whole data without the labels. And then I will write a formula to determine which cells to format. I repeat, I will be writing a formula to determine which cells to format. In order to write a formula to determine which cells to format, I'm going to select the data. And under conditional formatting, you have an option called new rule. I will click on new rule, okay, and I will choose this option. Use a formula to determine which cells to format. Use a formula to determine which cells to format. Click over here, begin with an equal to sign, and then I'm going to highlight the first cell over here, which is physical. Select the first cell that is physical. But if you see, yesterday when we did absolute cell referencing, we said that when we use dollar before the column and a dollar before the row, the whole cell gets locked. Here, I want the column to be constant. So it should only look at online column. But it should change the row entries so that it can look through my entire data, which is there, which is spread across so many rows. Okay. And wherever it fulfills the condition, the highlight should come. So when I want the column to be constant, but I would like the row entries to change. I repeat, my column E is fixed. I'm only referring to column E. But my row 2 should become row 3, then row 4. So it should check in that order. So $E2, $E3, $E4, in that manner it should check. Is equal to, and I will write over here, FUNDZBAZAR, close inverted comma. Now, when we write with an inverted comma, it is always text. So whenever we are writing text, we will always write with an inverted comma. So open inverted comma, write it, close inverted comma. And this is the first step where we are writing the form. For your reference, I'm copying this formula and I'm pasting it in chat. Minimize it, and from format over here, I'm going to select the color. Click on OK, and as soon as I click on OK, as I scroll through my data, wherever there is Funds Bazaar, the whole row will get highlighted. Wherever there is Funds Bazaar, the whole row will get highlighted. Let me come to conditional formatting, clear rules from selected cells. Select the whole data one more time. Control Shift down arrow key. Conditional formatting. New rule. Use formulae to determine which cells to format. Begin with an equal to sign. Select the first cell, that is $E, $2. Remove the dollar sign from the 2. So $E2 is equal to, open inverted commas and write Funds Bazaar. Close the inverted comma. Click on Format. Select the color. Often what happens is a very, very common mistake. We write the condition, but we forget the inverted commas. And if we write the condition but forget the inverted commas, it will not look for string data type. So it will not understand text. So always when you write any text in inverted commas, make sure it is in inverted commas. Many people write the condition properly but forget to give formatting. So even if you have written the condition but you have forgotten to give formatting, there will be no color coding on your cells. There will be no formatting on your cells. Click on OK and you will see the formatting. Now apply it across your cells. Is it clear, everyone? Can you all please try it? Conditional formatting with a rule. I've written the rule for you all in the chat, the way it's written. And please understand, we cannot log the column and the row both. We can only log the column because the column will be constant and the row entries will keep changing. Please try, everyone. Superb. Okay, let us now clear these rules of conditional formatting. And now let us apply one where we want to highlight the row with the number of units which are positive in nature. So if you scroll down and you see the number of units, they have a lot of values in negative, right? So if I want to highlight the number of units which are negative, I will select the whole thing. Just one moment. I will select this, Control Shift side, Control Shift down. Control Shift Side and Control Shift Down enables you to select the whole data. Then use Control Backspace to come to the top of your data where your headers or your labels are visible. Let us go to Conditional Formatting. Click on New Rule and use the option called Use a Formula to determine which cells to format. Click here. Begin with an equal to sign. Click on the number of units. Remove the $sign from row number 2 because we would like the row entries to change from 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. So $C2 is greater than 0. That means I want the number of units which are positive in nature or which are more than 0 to get highlighted. Click on Format, take a gray color, say OK. Click again on OK and you will see that the whole chunk here is highlighted. But as soon as the negative value starts somewhere down, from here you will see there is no color. But suppose I come here and I make this value positive. You will see that earlier there was no conditional formatting on it, but now that the conditional formatting rule has been applied, it is showing you a numeric value. Please try this, everyone. Okay, great. Now let me try one more rule of conditional formatting, and this time I'm going to apply it on the city type old. First, I'll go and clear the rules from the entire sheet. Then I'm going to select the data, Control Shift Side, Control Shift Down. After selecting the data, I'll go to Conditional Formatting. New rule, use formula to determine which cells to format. And here I'll write is equal to, go to the top here, click on city type, remove the $sign from here, and I'll write is equal to into inverted commas T30. Now, if you notice, when I write text, I write it in double inverted commas. Or if I write a combination of text and numbers, I write it in double inverted commas. But when I said greater than 0 or greater than 100, I write the number as it is. So numeric values in Excel can be written as it is. But when you're writing text and you're searching for something, you will always write it in a function or a formula, or in case of conditional formatting, in double quotes. Also, single quote being used. I repeat, very, very important. Single quote being used 2 times is not the same as double quote. Single quote being used twice is not the same as double quotes. Click on Format. Choose a color. Say OK. Say OK again. And wherever there's T30, you'll get the highlight. If I make this T60, the color will get removed. So basically, conditional formatting is running on the rules continuously. When you remove conditional formatting, you will see that the data is totally clean and there is no type of formatting. But when the value in the cell is changed, the conditional formatting rules, since they are prevalent, they will either add the rule or remove the rule based on whether the condition is fulfilled or the condition is not fulfilled. Please try. Are you all done? Let's continue, everyone. Are you all done? Everyone completed? Okay. Let's go to conditional formatting, clear rules. Clear rules from entire sheet. Now, let us do one last type of conditional formatting where we will look for net asset value equal to 0. And wherever it is 0, we will make it red fill. Okay? So, I'm going to select the data. You all try it at your end. Net asset value should be equal to 0. Please try at your end and then reconfirm with me. New rule. Use formulae to determine. Write the formula here is equal to. Select the first cell. D2 is equal to 0. Very, very important, the formatting. We can also do, instead of a fill color, font color. So click on font and under font, choose red. Make it bold and say OK. Say OK again. And you will see wherever there is 0 as net asset value, the font is red color for the whole row. Please try, everyone. Yes, definitely. I will show you duplication for sure. Okay. Now, suppose in this column, okay, you want to only highlight the duplicate values. Suppose in a particular column, you only want to highlight the duplicate values. You will come over here, click on conditional formatting, highlight cell rules and choose duplicate values. When you click on this, all the values which are either unique or duplicate will get highlighted. I have one unique value here and that is why I am selecting unique. But if you want to highlight duplicate, it will highlight duplicate. And if you highlight unique, it will highlight unique values. Please try. Please try everyone and let me know when you all are done. Sure. So suppose these are, one second. This is the data that I have over here. Okay. Okay, so suppose these are two columns over here and between these two columns, if you need to highlight it. So I've just got some sample data here. I'll copy paste and send it to you in the chat. Go to conditional formatting and under new rule, use duplicate values. Can you select this? Duplicate values. Click on duplicate. So under formula, you have formula over here. You have only duplicate values here. Click on this, click on duplicate. And from here, you can click on format and choose the color. Click on OK. And these are the duplicate values within the range. Between these two columns. So this and this is duplicate. This and this is duplicate. These two are duplicate. So in this manner, you can do that. So you select the two columns, go to new rule. Above use formula, you have used format only duplicate or unique. From the drop down, choose where you are looking for duplicate or you're looking for unique. Then go to format, choose the formatting attributes and click on OK. I'll just copy paste this text and give it to you. Otherwise, you can take it from sample superstore. You'll have the sample superstore. You'll have sample superstore. You can just copy paste some from here because I took it from here. I took the duplicate values from here. Please try everyone before we go ahead. Please try everyone and let me know. Great. Thank you so much for letting me know you'll have completed. I will go to conditional formatting, clear rules and clear from entire sheet. We'll wait for 2 more minutes for everyone to complete. Before we go ahead with the count if, sum if and the average if function. Okay, great. Now, what is the count if, the sum if or the average if function? The countif function is a function that will count if a criteria or a condition is fulfilled. That means if your criteria or your condition is fulfilled, okay, it will give you X value. If it is not fulfilled, it will give you another value. Okay, so count if, sum if and average if function, they work on the concepts of two things. One is range and the other is criteria. One is range, the other is criteria. Remember these two very important things when you're going to do the count if or the average. Range stands for where are you searching? Range stands for where are you searching? So what does your range stand for? Your range will stand for where are you searching? Where is the data? So where are you searching is your range. Criteria is your condition. You can call criteria your condition. That means what are you searching for? Criteria is your condition. That means what are you searching for? Range is where are you searching? Criteria is what are you searching for? So when we have the range and we have the criteria, we can count in a particular range if a particular criteria is fulfilled. So for example, I can select the funds bazaar and I can say if it is funds bazaar, I want you to count how many funds bazaar are there. I can say if it is an SIP, I want you to count the instances or the occurrences of SIP. Or if it is bonus, I want you to count the number of bonus. So in order to use a countif, select an empty cell. Select an empty cell. Begin with an equal to sign and write count if, open bracket, is equal to count if, open bracket. Range, What does range stand for? Where are you searching? So where am I searching? In this column. Comma. What am I searching for? Funds bazaar. Always give a reference of a cell. The advantage of giving a reference of a cell is if the value in the cell changes, automatically you'll get the answer for refreshed values. So, what is the range? Range is where are you searching? Criteria is what are you searching for? Close bracket, hit enter, and here is the answer. So, how many occurrences are there of Funds Bazaar? Funds Bazaar is occurring 23,500 times in this range. Funds Bazaar is occurring 23,500. Now, let me show you, because of making it a cell reference, what happens. If I change this to physical, can you see this? As soon as I change the reference of the cell to physical, you see physical is occurring 4,902 times. So every time I change a value where I have referred to or where I have given an external reference, I will get updated or refreshed values for the same. Please try, everyone. For those who would like me to do it one more time and would like to follow along, I'm doing it one more time. Is equal to, begin with an equal to sign, count if open bracket. Range stands for where are you searching. This is determined by your criteria. If I'm searching for Funds Bazaar or physical or online sales, they are all in E column, and that is why my range will be E column. Comma, criteria stands for my condition. That is, what am I searching for? And here I will choose physical. Close bracket, hit enter, and this is my answer. Please try this, everyone. Once you are done, let me know. Okay, great. Good work, everyone. Now let me take another example, and now we are going to count SIP. Since SIP belongs to column A, which is the transaction type column, what will the range be for SIP? The range for the SIP will be the transaction type column. So is equal to count if open bracket. Range transaction type column, comma, criteria will be SIP. Close the bracket, hit enter, and this is it. If I change SIP to bonus, you will see the data for bonus. If I again go and I change it to purchase, this is the data for purchase. If I change it to switch out, you are seeing the data for switch out. So this makes it really very, very dynamic. So every time I change the value which I'm referring to, I automatically get updated answers. Please try count if for switch out and then try for retrieval. For NAV, I will do the first one, and the second one you need to do it on your own. Finish for switch out and retrieval, then we will go to net asset value. We'll wait for 1 more minute and then we'll do the net asset value greater than 1500. Great, thank you. Okay, in order to find out the net asset value greater than 1500, I repeat, in order to find out the net asset value more than 1500, so we are going to count the instances of the net asset value which are more than 1500. I repeat, we are going to count the instances of the net asset value which are more than 1500 is equal to count if open bracket. Select the net asset value column, that is your range, comma, where is your criteria here? That means greater than 1500. So in this column, the items which are greater than 1500, you have to count them. Close bracket, hit enter. And these are the net asset values greater than 1500. Okay. Do the less than 100 and then we will go to the sum if function. Finish for net asset value this cell and then we'll go to the sum if function. Okay, now when we do the sum if, again we have range, that is where are we searching. We have criteria, that is what are we searching for or what is the condition that we are looking for. And we have sum range. Now what is your sum range? Your sum range is an additional entity. Your sum range is an additional entity. Okay. And this is the range of cells whose sum you want to find. So basically sum if it is funds bazaar. So we are first going to find out the number who are funds bazaar. And then we will need to either sum their number of units or we will need to sum their net asset value. So basically in the sum if function, you will need to give the value column which you need to sum. So maybe you're summing the number of productions or the number of sales or the profit or any other numeric value, but you will have to give a sum range or a range of cells which you can sum. Let us come here, begin with an equal to sign and write sum if. Open bracket. Range stands for where are you searching? Range stands for where are you searching? So where am I searching? Which is the range that I'm searching in? I am searching in online column. So I'm searching in this column. comma. What is the criteria? What am I searching for? I'm searching for physical. Because we'll repeat all the questions for both the other options, sum if and average if. So I'm searching for physical. In which column? In column E, comma. Now you will see that there is a new entity here in the sumif function which says sum range. That is, which is the range of cells who you want to sum. I repeat, which is the range of cells that you want to sum. So suppose I say I want to sum the units. So I will select the units. Close bracket, enter. So this is the sum of the units of physics. If I come and write funds, this will be the number of units of funds. So it's very, very simple. Range is the same. Criteria is also the same. Only there is a new entity added, which is called as sum range, which is the range of cells which need to be summed. I repeat, which is the range of cells which need to be summed. For those who want to follow along, I am repeating it one more time. You can do it along with me. Is equal to sum if, open bracket. Range stands for where are you searching. So I am searching in this E column or the column of online, comma. Criteria stands for my condition, that is my condition. Where am I searching? I'm searching in E column. What am I searching for? I'm searching for funds bazaar. Comma, sum range is the range whose sum I want to find out. So I can either sum the units or I can also sum the net asset value. In this example now, I am doing a sum of the net asset value. And this is the sum of my net asset value. Please try, everyone. Let us do it for switch out. So is equal to sum if, open bracket. Where is switch out? Switch out is in column transaction type. So the range or where am I searching is my column E. Comma. What am I searching for? Switch out. Comma. Which is the range which I want to sum? Number of units. Close bracket, hit enter, and this is the answer. If I change switch out to SIP, I am now seeing the sum range or the sum if of SIP. Please try, everyone. Complete for retrieval, then NAV, we will do it together. Complete for retrieval, we will do NAV together. Okay, let us do it for the net asset value. So if we want to calculate the sum if of the net asset value, This will be a little different from the earlier options. Now, when I write the sumif function, you will see that range and criteria are given as normal arguments or normal parts of the formula. But the sum range you will see is given in square bracket. I repeat, the sum range is given in square bracket. Sum range or any function when given in a square bracket is an optional entity. That means even if you do not provide data for that. I repeat, even if you do not provide data for that entity, you will still get your answer. So basically, in the sumif function, if you do not provide a part for the sum range, there could be certain scenarios where without providing the sum range, you can still do a sum. One such example is for numeric values. For example, when we talk about net asset value, the column which we are referring to is the net asset value column. The criteria is greater than 1500. Now, since net asset value is already a numeric value and it can be summed, we do not need to provide an additional sum range. I repeat, we do not need to provide an additional sum range because the net asset value can be summed. So open bracket, select the range of the net asset value, comma, criteria is the condition, comma, do I need a sum range now? No. Why? Because the net asset value is already a numeric value and we can sum the instances where the net asset value is more than 1500. So in this scenario, we will not need to give a sum range. So in certain scenarios, especially when we are looking at number values or numeric value column, the sum range option, the sum range entity becomes an optional entity. Please try this, everyone. For those who want to follow along, is equal to sum if, open bracket. Range stands for where are we searching. Since we are looking at net asset value more than 1500, I'm going to take the net asset value column. Comma, criteria is the condition, what I'm searching for, and now I'm searching for greater than 1500. Now, since the net asset value is already a numeric value, I don't need to give an additional entity for the sum range. So this can already be summed. So since sum range is optional entity, in some scenarios, we can avail of the benefit of the optional entity and still proceed with the answer and the formula without providing the value for sum range. If I change this to greater than 500, you will still get the answer. So even in case of numeric values, when you update the reference cells, all the other cells will get updated. Please try, everyone. Sum if for the net asset value column. Please try. For those who are confident about this, you all can try the second example also where the net asset value is less than 100. Okay, great work, everyone. For those who have completed this, I'm now going to net asset value for less than 100. So is equal to sum if The net asset value is less than 100. Right is equal to sumif, open bracket. Range stands for where are we searching? We are searching in the net asset value column, comma. Criteria stands for what is the condition or what is our criteria based on which we are searching. I will say less than 100. Now, since the net asset value again is a numerical value entity, again in this scenario also, we can skip the third part, which is sum range, because in the range we've already taken. I repeat, in the range, we have already taken a range which can be summed, which is numerical in nature. Close the bracket, hit enter. This is the answer. Please try, everyone. Okay, let us go to the averageif function. The averageif function is the third one which completes the whole series of the Countif, the sumif, and the averageif function. Now, when we do the averageif function, it will perform an average if a criteria or a condition is fulfilled. If the condition is fulfilled, it will perform the average. Otherwise, it will not perform the average of the values. Again, here you have range and you have criteria and you have an additional entity called average range. You have an additional entity called average range. This is the range of cells based on which you will perform the average. The range of cells based on which you will perform the average. That is the average range. Obviously, an average is a mathematical calculation or numeric in nature, and that is why the range whose average you will be performing will have to be numeric in nature, will have to be a number value. So for the first one of averageif, we are going to consider funds bazaar. So the same examples which we considered earlier will be the same examples we will consider for average. Begin with an equal to sign and write averageif, open bracket. Range stands for where are we searching. So I'm searching in the column E, comma, what am I searching for? What is my criteria? What is my condition? My condition is that it should be funds bazaar, comma. Average range is the range of cells. Average range is the range of cells which have to be considered. Average range is the range of cells which have to be considered for the purpose of average. So which is the value that we would like to find out the average? We would like to find out the average units. Then we will choose column C. If we want to find out the net asset value or the average net asset value, I will choose column D. For now, I want the average units, and that is why for average range or the range whose average I want to find out, I will take this column. Close bracket, hit enter. This is the answer. Please try, everyone. For those who want to follow along, let's do it together. Is equal to averageif, open bracket. Range stands for which is the range. So the range is online column, comma. Criteria is the condition. The condition here is the funds bazaar column, the funds bazaar cell, comma. Average range is the column whose average I want to find out. So the number of units, close bracket, hit enter, and this is the answer. Please try, everyone. Once you all are done with that, let us go to the SIP. Begin with an equal to sign, write average if, open bracket. Now, SIP is in the transaction type column. So for that, the range will be the transaction type column. Comma, criteria is my condition. So what is my condition? SIP. Comma, average range. That means which is the range? So I want the average of the net asset value of SIP. I want the average of the net asset value of SIP. And that is why for average range, I will select the D column or the net asset value column. Close bracket, enter, and this is the value for SIP. Is it clear? Any questions? Once you all finish this, let me know. I'm going to show you how to create a drop down in order to make this particular functionality even more better. Has everyone completed? Okay. In order to create a drop down, I'm going to come to this particular cell, delete the value here, and here I'm going to create a drop down for the items in the online column. So for that, I'm going to go to data. Under data, I'll go under data tools to data validation. Data validation, as the name suggests, will allow me to create a drop down or a list. And from the drop down or a list, I can keep changing items. And as I select different items, I can see the Countif, the sumif, and the averageif for the updated values from the drop down. So go to data, go to data validation, and from here I will choose list. Under validation, I will choose list. In source of the list, I will take these items. Click on OK and control backspace, move to the top, and you will see my drop down. These are the options in my drop down. And as I change items, you will see updated values for the items. So let me show this to you one more time. And this time, let's do it for the transaction type column. Select an empty cell or delete what is there in the cell. Then go to the data tab. Under the data tab, under data tools, click on data validation. Data validation, as the name suggests, allows you to create a list. Data validation allows you to create a list. Click on list, and in source of the list, I will take all these items. Now, the good part about using Office 365 or MS Office versions after 2019 is they give you only unique values in the drop down. So you do not have to take the trouble to remove duplicates. So you will be getting unique values in your drop down. Come here to the drop down, and as I keep changing items, I will see updated values. This makes it very, very dynamic. So when you're doing a Countif, sumif, or even a VLOOKUP, I highly recommend you to create drop downs. If anyone wants me to repeat creating a drop down, I can do it for city type. Let me know. We can go through it together. Did you all create the drop down? Does anyone want me to repeat creating the drop down? Yes, sure. Select an empty cell. Go to data tab. Under data tools, you will see data validation. Data validation allows you to create a list or a drop down. Click on it, allow list, and in source of the list, I can choose city type. Select the first one, control shift down till the right end, click here and say OK. Now for the city type, the drop down will be created. So basically you have to take a blank cell, go to data. Under data tools, you'll see data validation. Choose list over here, and here you just give your source of the list. Any source. And the drop down will be created. Please try, everyone. Okay. Once you all have completed data validation, We are now going to go with the net asset value greater than 500, and we will use the average if function. Once you all have completed your data validation or your drop down, you can check if your drop down is working. Then we will go to the net asset value column and we will look for values greater than 500 is equal to average if. Open. Average if will look up a range, and within the range it will tell you if the criteria is fulfilled, it will perform an average. Since the average is a mathematical calculation, you need a number value column. But in the range of cells, if you are selecting a number value column only, like in this case, in the range, we are selecting the net asset value column. That is why in such scenarios, the average range, can be excluded. We don't have to provide an entry. In fact, whenever in Excel, in any formula, when it is given in square bracket, it is an optional entity. That means there could be certain circumstances or certain scenarios where you do not need to give an input for that. So for the range, I'm taking the net asset value column, comma, for the criteria or the condition, I'm going to refer to this cell, close the bracket, enter, and only the net asset values which are more than 500, the average of those has been calculated for me. The average of those has been calculated for me. Let us do the next example. In this, we are looking for the average net asset value, which are less than 100. So, is equal to average if, open bracket, select the net asset value column, comma, select less than 100 as the criteria or the condition. Again, since in the range I have taken a number value column, which I can perform an average on, I can exclude the average range option and close it. Enter. Try it, everyone. Let me know when you all complete. Okay, good work, everyone. I'm giving you some questions over here. I need you to write the formulae for these. Okay. I need you to write the sum, the count, and the average for these. So this is now your assignment to be done now. And as you start writing the formulas, you will be copy pasting them in chat. As you start writing the formulas, you will copy paste them in chat. So this is your question. I'm pasting the question also in the chat. This is your question. Okay. So everyone, I want you all to start working on these. As you write the formulas, start putting them in chat so we can check the answers. Come on. me know. I can't see any formulas in the chat box. Are you all trying the formulas out or you all need help with it? Let me know. In the meanwhile, let me take the attendance. Has anyone left the meeting if you all are aware from your team? Has anyone left the meeting from your team? Who is user 425? Let me know. Who is user 425? Anyone knows who is user 425? Any idea? How many of you all are managing the formulas? Any questions? Any queries? Oh, wow. Very good. Thank you, Parita. She's done for units. Okay, good work. In G3, you've written your reference of this question. Yes, I guess so. Okay. Who else has done the formulae? Come on, everyone, complete the formulae and share in the chat. It will not take that long. It's a quick process. Once you get sum, count, and average of units, you have to just replicate it for city type. Okay, Ritu, thank you. You have given the direct answers, I think, no? Okay. Yes, Manisha, good work. Okay, Chetan sir, very good. So I see that you all are managing and you all are doing it really well. Good work, guys. We've managed to accomplish quite a bit today, considering yesterday we started. Today we have already completed conditional formatting. We have also completed creating a drop-down using data validation. And we have completed the sumif, the countif, and the averageif function. Now, before I call it a day today, in the meanwhile, keep sending your formulas to me on chat. Before we end for today, I would like to explain to you a little more about the data validation or the drop down. Now, the data validation works fine till you are selecting from it. Or if you decide to type what is already there in it works fine. But if as a user you decide to copy something and paste it, the rules of validation get erased. I repeat, if you decide to copy paste, like for example, NAV, I decide to copy and paste it. The rules of validation from this particular cell will get erased. Then this cell will be an open cell and will accept any kind of data. Another thing is if you need multiple validations, you don't have to keep creating. Create one, copy it, select the range and just paste it. You will see that there are multiple data validations. Also, another very important thing, when we create a data validation, by default, nothing is selected. Like if we go and we create a validation. So let me go to data, data tools, data validation, allow list, source of the list. Let me take these items. Can you see? Nothing is selected. If as a user, you decide to refer to this cell where there is a drop down, there is validation, but nothing is selected, you will still get an error. Even if your formula is correct, because you are looking up a blank cell. So whenever you create a data validation, the first step is select anything from it. It may not be exactly what you're looking for, what you're selecting. You can go and change the selection. But when you let it be blank and think that you will select at a later time, that doesn't happen. So you do not end up going back and selecting it at another time. And because you do not end up going back and selecting it at another time, what happens is you are looking up blank cell. And when you are looking up a blank cell, there is definitely going to be an error in your formula. So your formula may be correct, your reference may be correct, everything will be correct, but you will still see an error because you're looking up a blank cell. Data validation or creating drop downs is also very useful when we are creating VLOOKUPs. So this body of knowledge or this what you have learned today is only going to take you further. We will be using it in VLOOKUPs in order to make our VLOOKUP table dynamic so that the user can interact with your table. Also, I want to ask you a question. When you all were creating drop downs for data validation, were you all getting unique entries or you all have to remove and create unique entries? Did you have to remove duplicates or you all were getting unique entries? Were you all getting unique entries or you all had to select and remove duplicates? It actually depends on the version. So that's the reason I'm asking you. You all need to select and remove unique and remove duplicates or directly. We need to select to create a drop down, but were you all getting, you all need to remove duplicates. Okay, so that means you all are not using, maybe you all are using Office 2015 or 16. So if anyone is not comfortable with removing duplicates, let me know. We will do that as well. I repeat, if anyone is not comfortable removing duplicates, let me know. We will do that as well. Now, in data validation or drop down, there is one more way by which we can create a drop down. And that is by typing inside. So take a blank cell. Okay, go to go to data. Under data tools, go to data validation. Allow list and in source of the list start like this is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have written them, say okay. Yeah, just start with 1, 2. No need of writing equal to. directly start as 1, comma 2, say OK, and here you will see your drop down or your list for data validation create. Click on the drop down and you can start selecting. So if you do not want to select, or if what you want to create a drop down for is not present on your sheet, in that case, what you can do is you can write it inside. So I could also write online, funds bazaar, NSE, physical. So I could also come here to data, data tools, data validation, allow list, and in source I could write online, sales, comma, funds bazaar, comma, NSE, and say OK. Click on the drop down, and in data validation, when you are typing, since you are typing under validation and it is a rule, you do not have to put the text in inverted commas. So you can just write whatever the values are. So SIP, SWIP, ESIP, you can just directly write. You don't have to put it in inverted commas. But in a function, in a formula, when you're writing text, or in conditional formatting, when you're writing text, you will have to put it in double inverted commas. When you're writing text in a function or in a formula, you will have to put it in double inverted commas. So with this, we are done with the teaching part of today's session. I am now open for question and answers. You can let me know if you have any questions, any queries, or if you would like to share something. Again, today's recording will also be available for you